happens is there's a consciousness shift that starts to occur. And I want to look here at 7 of these shifts. And this is a progression I see when people really make the commitment to do this, to step into that presence and then just be in that space of welcoming whatever information is ready to come through. There's this journey that unfolds. So the first one is life happens, right? We're just going about our lives, our day-to-day things. Probably maybe a lot of people not even thinking about intuition. I know this was the case for me earlier in my life, just doing my thing, skateboarding, whatever, doing yoga. And then I started to meditate more. And then there was something that happens. And this is the next phase, the next initiation. I call it the first encounter with mystery. And it's that first moment where you really know, without a doubt, that there's something going on that's more than a day-to-day business. For me, it was a synchronicity. I had a synchronicity that was uncanny, and I realized that there was no way it was just a coincidence. And I'm curious if anybody can relate to that stage, that initiation, where you were going along in your life and then all of a sudden there was something that happened. Maybe it was you had an insight or a vision and then it came to pass, or you had a synchronous kind of encounter where you thought of something and then, that shows up in your life the next day or whatever, and it's uncanny. And it's, in the old sense of the word, weird. It's weird enough that it busts you out of your rut and you go, wow, something's going on here. So I'm curious if anybody else can relate to a moment like that, because it's always interesting when that happens. It's sort of cracking the shell open, I call it. And for a while that can happen and we think, that's just a coincidence, right? It's a coincidence that I thought of that person and they called me 30 seconds later, and the logical mind, if we haven't been brought up in a culture that accepts that kind of thing, we can say, oh, it's a coincidence, it's just odds, But this first encounter with mystery, it's like a little thing where it breaks that open and it goes, whoa, something actually is happening here. And I don't know how to describe it or what it is, but I'm really curious, right? Yep, people are saying absolutely. Julia says, Dan, thumbs up. So these things happen. And I always watch for that when I mentor people, because there is a moment when it's going to happen. If they're applying deep sensory connection, that moment's just going to happen at some point. And it's always interesting to see what that is for each person. And then also to see, how are they integrated in that? It can be hard to put into words, yeah. If the person follows that thread, right, they get curious enough and they keep their practice going, they go to the third initiation. And this is where true determination awakens. This is a sense of, wow, there's this mystery going on. And it's opening up my view of the world more than I ever thought possible. What really is possible? I want to know. And so you deepen your practice. You follow that mystery. There's actually a word for this in the yogic traditions, Sankalpi Shakti. This is an opening of energy, of the determination to practice, the determination to shift the consciousness further and to follow that thread.